So we're trying to stay away from that and access through the existing driveway, which is located opposite Holland Avenue. This second access is located right opposite of Holland Avenue. It's about 42 feet or so wide. The driveway, as Mr. Murphy has described, does go through a portion of a little wetland also. On the plans along the northerly property line, basically along the stone wall of the properties from Hamilton Avenue, is a small forested wetland. This wetland is such that there are no buffers to it. It is less than 3 acres in size. It is classified as again as a forested wetland without any buffers. There's also a small pocket on the west side of the driveway. The driveway, as I noted, does cross through the wetlands. Being that the driveway has been existing for 100 or so years, there are certain exempt activities that they can go and maintain the driveway because it does cross through the wetlands. They can cut vegetation that is needed for vehicles, safety reasons, and so forth. So there's no wetland application that has to be made every time they want to go and regrade the driveway, things like that. So they have done that recently, and Mr. Bean can testify to the condition of the driveway. It is approximately 12 feet wide, and it does, again, service the farmhouse that is existing near the south property line.
Mike, would you show where the spur will come off to go to the lot?
Yes. The proposed lot 1 will be accessed from this driveway heading south and then heading east to lot 1, the proposed dwelling in this general area here. I would like to note that the proposed lot lines have been designed so that they generally follow the existing stone walls on that property. We've tried to generally follow the center line of the stone walls. Obviously, the old stone walls have a lot of bends and so forth to them. Through the years have been kind of disturbed a little bit, and trees grow around them and so forth. So to actually follow the exact center line of that stone wall would be very tedious, and you'd have about 500 angles going down that wall. So we just generally follow the center of that stone wall so that both properties, as was the case in the 1800s when a lot of these properties were divided, ran down the general center line of the stone wall. So we've tried to recreate that for both lot 1, between lot 1 and lot 2, and also between lot 2 and lot 3. There's an existing stone wall there. There are other stone walls within the property. Those have been proposed to be maintained and to be not disturbed. There's an additional wetland area at the southeast corner of the property that does have a 50-foot buffer to it. It is such that it is classified as a swamp. A swamp does have a 50-foot buffer. We've generally located that wetland edge, and we have no proposed improvements located anywhere within 150 feet of that wetland edge.
And 150 feet is the setback required under the Jamestown zoning
The
ordinance.
150-foot setback is required for the zoning ordinance for a septic system. The dwelling will be a lot further than that and so forth. Okay. Currently, the existing farmhouse has a water service. So that water service is intended to maintain and stay with the existing farmhouse. The other two proposed dwellings at this time are the wells. There are some existing wells that were dug on the property. They are located far enough from the proposed septic systems, and the idea is to keep those wells at this time. And both lot 1 and lot 3 have been soil tested with soil evaluations and have been approved by DEM suitable for design of septic systems on the property. The existing farmhouse recently had a new septic system designed and approved by DEM for repair for that property.
Thank you. George, could you describe the access?
Sure.
the record, my name is George Gifford. I'm a licensed landscape architect, and my place of work is Cumberland, Rhode Island. Typically in situations like this, subdivisions proposed before this board, I would be explaining to you the general makeup of the vegetation community and how we are going to be avoiding exemplary plant species or plant varieties. We haven't gotten to that extent at this point, largely because there are proposed very little land disturbance activities with this proposal, with the exception of the new home sites. I have been requested, however, to visit the property in more detail to identify some exemplary trees or exemplary cultural artifacts such as the stone walls to assist my clients with their house siting. So that will come in the future. And I just want to let you know we're being very cognizant of those property values. In general, however, the vegetation community is made up of very typical Jamestown tree species. We've got a lot of red maples, a lot of red cedars, ash, and of course, things Jamestown chokecherry. In particular, what they've asked my office to look at is conceptually how a driveway would be proposed along the Stanton Road access off of Highland Drive. Mr. Darbo and Mr. Murphy spoke to you about this old right-of-way that's been platted for years and years off of Highland. And as has been stated, this right-of-way access off of Highland, just for orientation, of course, Hamilton is up here, is going to provide access to the proposed Lot 3 as well as the old farmhouse. My client's new house, to be located in Lot 1, will be accessed by an easement through Lot 2. So the idea with this proposed new driveway to access Lot 3 is to create something very natural. Create a pervious surface no greater than 14 feet wide that will be respectful of the existing trees, will essentially wind through the right-of-way area, and will be landscaped nicely with some indigenous species, along with, well, I have a particular soft heart for rhododendron. Typically, it's a little dangerous proposing rhododendrons because deer have a soft heart for them as well, but I did notice that in this area the rhododendrons on neighboring properties are not being consumed heavily by the deer population. So the idea here, of course, is to propose a meandering roadway with naturalized plantings on either side that will serve aesthetic purposes as well as buffering to the neighbors. The one exception I would note which was determined relatively recently and explained to me just this evening, is that for the first section of this driveway access, that portion that goes through Mr. Heflin's property, it would take a much straighter course and be tucked down to the south, no closer than 7 feet from Mr. Perkins' property. And then it would take a more meandering path from that point on.
Thank you.
Before you go on, could you clarify, because we're seeing two different things here, the driveway for Lot 2